the Otsutsuki are above Kage level, based on what we've seen.
Yeah, but
Now,
at the same time, it could just be Momoshiki being inconsistent there. And the reason I'm going to say that is because, well, if Boruto's tuning level, we know that Academy Mitsuki just blatantly was a Jonin level at the very least. Then he activates Sage Mode and he's beyond Dasani level, he's beyond Kage, and then he presumably gets stronger. Not just in part one, but over the time skip. So now he's TBV Sage Mitsuki, should be far beyond Kage, and he's a Raya level.
Yeah, okay, but the problem is
Um,
you're using Two Blue Vortex.
here's the thing. I'm
Well,
willing
if
to
I
admit-
use Naruto Next Generations, he never found Boruto while he was injured in a base.
Okay,
But that's also
if you,
Ikimoto.
no, because you're using Ikimoto's manga.
Exactly, that's what I said, but that's also Ikimoto.
Yeah. But Immortal, as you were saying.
What I was gonna say is, even though I had my gripes with Mitsuki and how the way he goes about using his abilities, I can't take away from the fact that in part one, like, I know Mitsuki should be able to use shadow clones, but one thing we did see that in part one is that he wasn't able to fully control like the sage mode, not to the higher degree as he can in TBV. Whereas he's just able to spam shadow clones, and those shadow clones can just go crazy with the snake constructs destroying the area all around him while he was fighting Boruto. So there was like a higher level degree of control with Sage Mode than he did with.
But that's the problem. He controls it better, yet somehow is weaker.
Yeah. I don't. It's
How?
I mean, I don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna. Let's just say, break down or just like jab on Mitsuki, like calling him weak, because he's not weak, not even like in the stretch of the imagination. But when it comes to characters like Boruto, Kawaki, Jura, Damon,
Base Sarada, Araya,
even Sarada in her MS, I was like, oh, okay. I don't know how to feel about this, because like Sarada's awakened her MS ability, and she's pretty much able to create singularity spheres that can act as black holes, and she's also able to selectively, put gravity on anyone within her area, and she's able to create some sort of gravity field where she's able to lift people up and float. I was like, oh, okay. So
the easiest thing to do would have just been to have Mitsuki awaken his Sage Mode in this arc or the next, and that's his power up. So he just doesn't use Sage Mode in any of these scenes. Here you go.
But it's just whatever. It's just like when Sarda awakened her MS ability, I was like, oh, I hope Mitsuki can. I hope they can give Mitsuki something that can make him equally. Well,
they're gonna have to invent a new Mitsuki thing to do this, where they never needed to in the first place, or they're just gonna do some bullshit. He wasn't trying because of XYZ reason, even though he's already had a character arc in Two Blue Vortex. But
yeah.
I can't wait for them to bring Sarada back down to Earth so that everyone can have their soul crushed.
It's just like from here on out, Sarada's just gonna get stronger. We all know.
No, she's going to get weaker. I promise you. Her next performance.
Yeah, because you have to remember the rule: beginner's luck. The first time any jutsu is debuted, it is just objectively 100 times stronger than every other time.
Like watch, next time she uses it, she's not even going to be able to pick up Hidari. He's too heavy.
But, oh man, that's crazy.
Because Ryu's as light as sand. That's why it worked on him.
But shouldn't it also be able to pick up Hidari regardless of his mass?
Well, not if his mass is just greater than the gravitational pull of her orbs.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good question. Is the weighted boulder jutsu just the perfect counter to Sarada? Just make yourself heavy.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so personally, because I don't think it would matter. Because when it comes to a black hole, anything caught up in its path, it's just going to be spaghettified, and well, whatever happens to it is whatever happens to it, because I don't know what happens when
We
something
know
goes
it's
into
not a
hole.
black hole, though. It's not bending the
Well,
light
it's like
around
it's
it. It's just a physical black orb, like a
bending-
Truth Seeker orb.
Well, yeah, but I would say it's more like a chakra singularity sphere, more like a controlled one, not like an untamed one, like an actual singularity. More so, would you consider what she does like a Shinjutsu level technique or just ninjutsu at its core?
Let's not even get into that.
I don't know, because apparently Mobushiki's future sight isn't Shinjutsu potentially, according to Ikimoto.
Yeah,
so
but the claw marks
I don't think
are.
it matters. Yeah. But shrinking yourself is.
I
But
honestly
Tejikara isn't.
don't like the claw. Amano Tejikara is considered ninjutsu. So pretty much,
yeah. So is Infinite Tsukiyomi, by the way.
Yeah, Infinite Tsukiyomi. Yeah,
you know,
which
the
is so weird
ultimate
because
genjutsu.
it came from the Rin. It's so weird. I mean, that's mainly because
Well, it's because in Naruto,
wasn't a concept back then.
everything was ninjutsu, and the OP ass ones were just yin yang release ninjutsu.
Yeah.
So creation of all things was a ninjutsu, but it was a yin yang release technique that was basically Shinjutsu, but it wasn't a separate category. And that's just the Boruto retcon. You know who did it? Ikimoto.
Man, you remember when Hagoromo didn't have hand signs yet to perform ninjutsu because ninjutsu didn't exist yet because Indra hadn't invented hand signs yet? Remember when that happened and Hagoromo was using creation of all things before that? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And you also remember, so this is another blatant, you could tell, Kodachi versus Ikimoto. When Kodachi was writing, Sukuna Hikono was Ishiki's secret jutsu. The secret jutsu, Sukuna Hikono. Not the Shinjutsu, just the secret jutsu. The Hiden technique.
Now,